Another question I got asked by one of my friends, and he actually meant it was, how far before month end, I don't spend salary finish. No, be say I know they make correct money, so wetin dey sup? Come help my life on and on. I just like to answer the question once and for all from very broader perspective. And when I mean broader perspective, take for example, I'm not here to tell you that budget, plan your finance, this and that, on and on, blah blah blah, and everything. Now, those things are not wrong. I'm here to try to answer the question from the perspective that would also make you see why, maybe despite the fact that you've tried budgeting, despite the fact that you've tried planning your finance, still yet it seems as though you are not hitting that goal or hitting that target. And the first perspective I'd like to answer that question from for everyone who is also in that shoe, because I've been there before and sometimes I still find myself there. But I think the only difference is that I've grown and I also know the things to do sometimes over time. The first way I like to put it is that there's what is called financial makeup. This may not apply to everyone, but to those that it applies to, that's why you're concerned. Now, there's what we can call financial makeup. So, what that means is that the reason why, no, how you spend money rather, is not random. There's something responsible for how we all get to spend money. There's something responsible for we living a lifestyle that does not allow us to have savings, that makes it look as though the money we are making is not sufficient for us at the end of the month. And don't forget, I'm referring to those that are actually making good money, but somehow they just can't point to maybe some quite a couple of things that are tangible at the end of the month or that they are doing with the money. So we are not necessarily talking about those who are underpaid, because the fact is there are those who are definitely underpaid. And for those ones, the first thing they need to do is to get to a level where they are being paid well. But of course, this also still applies to them and to everyone. So the first thing I just like you to accept, trust me, you need to accept it. I've been there before and I used to disagree. So now I'm speaking to you as someone who used to be there, that was ignorant. But now I have a better understanding. Is that there is something responsible for the way you spend money. That is why you are spending money the way you spend money. So really, budgeting will not solve your problem. What else? Planning will not necessarily solve it until you understand this thing. And what is it? Budgeting and planning is supposed to help you become something. But when you don't even know what you are trying to become, then budgeting and planning may not have the effect it was meant to have in the first place. So I'm not also here to say that budgeting is wrong. I'm not here to say that planning is wrong. I'm rather here to give you the other piece that may most likely be missing. And then you can marry everything together and then you can begin to see some tangible progress in your finance. So first thing first, when most people come to me and they're like, oh, my finance is in bad shape, there's one question I often ask each and everyone. And funny enough, to almost everyone, the answer is usually no, or I used to do it before, then I stopped, or I used to do it, and then there's also something else they're failing to add to it, which is that, do you keep financial records? Yep. Because if you do not keep financial records, why are they important? They are important because until you start keeping them, you won't know where you are spending wrongly. Now, the thing about financial makeup, like I said earlier, is that majority of us have picked up terrible financial makeup from the environment, from our parents, from friends, from siblings, from anywhere. Come to think about it, that has made you see that there's nothing wrong in the way I spend money. So the reason why the first step to ensuring that your salary gets enough for you is that you need to begin to keep financial records. Why are financial records important? Let me share a story with you. It's not a story I'm proud of, but I'll still share it. In the year 2022, that was when I began to keep financial record. And trust me, even to date, if I dash you 20K, for example, trust me, it's inside my financial record that I dashed Paul Olayiwola 20,000 naira, or I dashed so person 20K. So I started keeping records in the year 2022, and I saw something very shocking at the end of the year. So it was even a full year that made me realize what I'm trying to teach you now. That's not even just enough to keep records, but let's make progress. So at the end of the year 2022, something just told me to go back to check those records, and I began to highlight the amount I spent on chicken pie and five alive puppy just in the year 2022. And guess how much they amounted to? 400,000 plus. I'm not saying food though. I'm not saying the food I bought and eat, just snacks like, maybe I'm working. Also, 2020 year was one of the years that depression was showing me chronic shaking. And as for me, the way I dealt with it then was I just eat. I try to eat whatever I feel is good for my soul. So there could be days I could just be inside and I'm just like, come on, one guy they wire me, oh, come out, carry bike, go to bite more. I was in Ibadan then. Pick up a bike, go there, maybe 3 or 4 chicken pies, 5 alive puppy, and I just straight back home. And I was doing that week in, week out, week in, week out, week in, week out. And then the end of 2022, I was just like, let me just sum everything up. And I saw 400K. Now it became a matter because starting 2023, I wanted to run some projects and I needed some amount of money. And I was totally cashless to be able to run it. And I felt very bad. Like the previous year, I spent 400K on junks, and then this year now, I don't have anything. So, what that did to me, and the same way I know it will do to you, is that it made me first of all come to the acceptance of the fact that I'm actually not broke. I'm just mismanaging the money that has been finding its way to me. And there's another teaching behind that entirely that we can't even begin to go into. So, how do I ensure that my salary becomes enough for me? Start keeping records. So the essence of that record is so that you yourself and be faithful. Be faithful. Do I keep it consecutively all the time? Sometimes no. Sometimes it could be piled up for a week. That was then. And even sometimes till now. Like, okay, so I just go through my transactions. I majorly use just 2 banks. So I'm able to see through everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, I spent this amount on this. I spent this amount on this. And then I keep a record of everything. So that made me realize that okay, chicken pie was the destroyer of my financial destiny. So what did I do entering in 2023? It wasn't as though I stopped it completely because there was also another part of the chart or of the puzzle that was missing, which is what, or which will now move us to the next thing, getting a financial accountability partner. I feel these two must to go hand in hand so that your salary can begin to become sufficient for you at the end of the month. So you keep records. Going into the next month, you ask yourself important questions. The amount I spent on this thing, is it enough? The answer is no. The amount I spent on this thing, is it good? The answer is no. So the question is that, funny enough, before you began to keep records, there's every probability you know that that thing is wrong. So the essence of now having a financial accountability partner is because, remember I said something from the beginning, financial blueprints. And what financial blueprint does to you is that financial blueprint makes you spend money without thinking. It's like a behavior. If there is anyone who has dealt with anger before, you could tell that when you are done getting angry, you are like, hi, Omo, the way I take vex, no good. I don't want to vex again. In fact, you've even programmed everything inside your head, inside your mind. The next time someone tries to annoy me, I'm not going to get angry. The next time someone says this, I'd rather say God bless you and let the person go your way. It's like anger was looking at you and say, yo. I'm kidding. Because sometimes even that same day, before you step out of your house or before somebody else says Jack, Omo, you don't flare up again. What I'm just trying to let you see is that there is something inside us that controls the way we act, react, do everything. And I'm saying even beyond emotions, there is something responsible for the way you spend money. It's an habit. That's the best way we can call it. And you see, the best way to counter a bad habit is to form a new habit. It's a psychological process in neuroscience, but I'm not here to bore you with neuroscience. So, what neuroscience makes us understand is that if you are used to doing something again and again and again and again and again, your life gets to a point whereby your subconscious don't even have to consult you before you do that thing. So example is that anger scenario I just gave us. Before now you've gotten to a point whereby you even feel it is normal. Like you even take pride in your anger. Like omo, yeah, they vex so, and if I vex, everywhere feels scatter. So I'm saying over time you've gotten to expressing yourself when some certain things happen that it is now part of your subconscious. So such that even now that you are now trying to not get angry, your subconscious has already mastered it. I'm saying that it's the same thing with money. So take for example, many of you have decided that the next time this person brings tie to our shop or shoe, in my say shop, office, shoe or food or this, I won't buy it. But if you pay attention to the thought process going on inside of you, the moment that person comes in, what will you observe? You are giving yourself reasons why you should buy it. So it's like there's a fight going on inside of you. You don't say you know go buy this thing again. But sure say, but if you don't like this, blah, 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 long story short, you end up buying it. So where I'm just trying to lead you to is that until we begin to break that bad habit, which is what some of the people who taught us budgeting and planning never taught us, is that trust me, you will budget till kingdom come. So far that money is there that you can spend. Something will push you to spend it. So what we are just trying to do now with budgeting, having a financial accountability partner, is to help break that habit. That's how you form new habits. You form, or better still, let me say that's how you destroy old habits. You destroy old habits by forming new one. Nature detests vacuum. So that is to say that you can't undo a bad habit and say you are neutral. No, a new habit has to take place. So what is the new habit you are trying to ensure take place? The habit of financial discipline. the habit of spending money only when you need to spend money, and then the habit of savings. So for some of you, what might even relate to you is that you save. Oh, trust me, you could save over the period of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then on the 6 months, something just come, you pack everything, you throw it into it, and then you're starting from ground zero again. So what we are trying to say is that the essence of a financial accountability partner in respect to keeping records and making plan is that, so take for example, so there was a time I had one of my friends, I told, okay, so please, I need you to be helping me manage my money. So what this implies is that my money will be in your account, please, oh, only with someone you trust. Take for example this assignment, I can't give it to my mom. No, I just can't because I've been there before. If you say I'm traumatic, no issues. So what you're trying to say is that this has to be with someone you trust and someone you also know that if you cry till next year, they still will not send this money to you. No, they won't. So what are some of the habits I even have? Some that I even brought into Abuja. One of them is yogurt. Oh my god. There are some people in this Abuja that can make nice yogurt. Damn, once you taste it, you are hooked. It's like an addiction. So I just told this my guy, like, okay, Obeni, how far? Collect this money. When I need to do something, I'll let you know what I need to do with it, and then you transfer the money. So even before I go and meet him, that I need yogurt, I know he won't send it. So I don't even bother going to meet him at all. So one of the things that this thing did to me over time was that it killed those appetites. You may think these things may not matter. Take for example, another one I know that the average person can relate to it is that you go to the mall and you go to buy something and then you see maybe Coke. And you know maybe you have like 500 naira change. Something just tells you like, this 5H, no if you go back home like that now. This 1K, no if you go back home like that. And then you just pick maybe a couple of sweets and soft drink and all those things. And like me, by the time you sit down and do the whole mathematics, you'll be shocked. Even if the mathematics at the end of the year is 35K, bro, at least in this Abuja, and even in some countries, and I say countries, in some states in Nigeria, 35K will still give you a very nice kaftan at the end of the year or at the end of the month or something. So you see some people, they wonder why they don't have clothes on their neck. They don't know that Agbado, Boli, Suya, Coke is what is collecting the money from them. And some people wonder why they don't have savings too. It's some of all these things. And what we are saying is that you've tried stopping it. Now it's time to put in structures in place. So to wrap this up and to answer that my guy's question, I think this is the way to ensure you live a lifestyle. You know that your salary gets to a point that it is enough. You get to save well, and then you also now get to a point where you now begin to invest appropriately. See, let me also put this before we wrap up. Making money, saving money, multiplying money, which is also investing. They are three different things entirely. They have they require different thinking processes. So that is to say that, and it's step by step. The first step is make money. Some people have learned how to make it already. Now we are talking about keeping it and preserving it right. And I've just shared part of the psychology to properly preserve your money and increase it in preservation. Now, the next one, which will be to multiply money, that one also requires a different thought processes entirely, which some people are also in that circle. They know how to make money, they know how to save it, they know how to be disciplined. But when it comes to multiplying it, that's where there's issue. Of course, we'll definitely come back to that later. But for today's focus is you are making money. But some might just seem as though you can't point to anything tangible you are doing with that money at the end of the month. So by the time you begin to list it, I said one time ago, like in this age and time, I don't see any absolute reasons why anyone will be sponsoring their siblings full time in school. And the caveat I added to it was if that sibling is old enough, why can't the sibling pick up a skill? Now you they sponsor your sibling full time, the thing can't they choke you. Well, I may be wrong, but from my own little experience, it does not add up. Let your sibling pick up a skill. The only reason why I feel maybe anyone can try to sponsor their sibling full time is maybe the sibling is just trying to be focused in quotes to pursue scholarship. But even at that, yeah, I've seen people that were working and still came out best graduating students. Yeah, I know best graduating student. I never pursued it actually, but I've seen people who did that. I know a couple of them, and many of them are not in the country anymore. So, to put proper structure, first accept that there's something wrong about the way you spend money and you need to undo it. And part of the structures that we can now put in place to undo it is first, you need to begin to keep financial records. So, financial records will help you see where you are spending money that you are not meant to spend. And then from there, the next structure we can now put in place to ensure that we don't continue to spend money where we are not meant to spend. To be very honest, to me, I think it's just to have an accountability partner. Or some will say having accounts that you can access. That's also part. So how do you keep records? For me, it's as simple. I use Excel sheets. It's that simple. Dates, amount, purpose. Very simple. 25K. Dates, 4th of August. Amount, 25K. Waiting I take and do. I dash person. Or I take and buy book. Or I take and do that one. So at the end of the month again, I still come. I check. Okay, I gave this person money. To be very honest, was it necessary? If the answer is no, I need to check the way I give money to people. Because one of my nickname is Father Figure. Afunima Obe. Before person call cry, I don't cry money giver. But to be very honest, it's an honest question. If I keep giving money to people this way, is it sustainable? Hope it's not that a time will come I will want to give and then there is nothing to give. So it's easier. It may be easier now to keep giving people 25k, 30k, 25k, 30k out of what you are making. But a time will come. Look at Nigeria, for example. There's inflation, there's all those things. That some of all these things will not suffice again. So build yourself to a point. Now, there are people that are often genuinely in need. Yes. But for me right now, one of the criteria I have when people come to me is when they say they need money, I check it critically. If I don't give this person this money, will someone die? Will this person die? No. That has reduced the chance of me giving the person by 50%. Secondly, to be very honest, if I don't give this person this thing, will this person be able to sort it out? Yes. If it's yes, trust me, I'm not giving you. Not because I'm wicked, but because I also have to gather to a point that I can now give without thinking. So as we wrap up, how do I live in a way that my money is sufficient for me? Accept. No. Let it be a knowing now. So now you know why you need to budget. Now you know why you need to plan. Now you know why you need to have an accountability partner. So it's not just that you are just trying to have it because someone said it. No, you are trying to have it because you are trying to form new habits. And these are the structures that can let the new habits take place. And you'll be surprised to see what amounts. This is something I've done that has worked for me. So I know what I'm saying. When I began to practice it, I was surprised to see that my business can flow effortlessly. That's another part we can't even begin to digress into now, especially for those who are self-employed. Not separating your own business and your own money from the business money. But long story short, when I began to practice these principles, keeping records, going through them, planning, and then ensuring that someone just manages this money for me, that I don't spend it anyhow, I was shocked at the amount of reserve I could have, and business could run smoothly, things could run smoothly. I just get the basic things: food, groceries, toiletries. I'm okay for now. You got no be necessity. Later, or maybe by this time next year now, I think they drink you got every day. But for now, kilo you got now like 2 6. So if I dey buy one every day at the end of the month, that's like how much? Like 78k every month. On top you got at the end of the year, bro, that's like maybe 900k plus or 1 million. I don't even know. So come to think about it, guys. So to help yourself, keep records, Excel, go through the records, tell yourself, okay, I did not spend well here, I did not spend well here. And most importantly, find someone that can help you manage your funds. Okay, are there basic funds that can be in your hand? Of course. It's fair to go to wherever you're going to for those who work in 9 to 5. So not just that you have taken boats, you need to call someone to make transfer. Not that deep. But at least, okay, I've gotten my fair. I've gotten maybe the money that I know is meant for food, not excessive eating. Correct. These are the things I need in a month. I've bought data, I've done this, I've done that, I've done all those things. So this is part of the rest. Please take it and keep it. So I know that if somebody cries and come and meet me and I send the person money out of my fare, let me go suffer. So that leaves me with no choice than to come and meet the person, and I know the person will not. So check it out. So I believe I've also been able to bring justice to that question. Financial habits, proper one must be put in place. And these are just some of the structures. There are several others we can discuss, but I think these are the basic anyone can relate with. So when you begin to do some of these things, some appetites will die in you naturally. And there are some of us that after those appetites are dead, we can begin to manage our money back by ourselves. And there are some of us that who knows, maybe till the end of time, someone will have to keep managing our money for us. Maybe until when we've had so much that maybe no amount of extravagant spending can make it finish. But until then, put these structures in place so that you can gather, you can increase, and then you can be prosperous in your ways. So until I come your way again, cheers and God bless.